Okay, I think it's good. Well, let's see. I've never read this news source before. I've never even heard of this news source before, so I have no idea how trustworthy it is. I have no idea what sort of bias I'm expecting to hear or anything. This seems kind of like a straight news sort of thing, but who knows? Oh, okay, that didn't show up. So this says the world is growing happier, but not most Western countries. Let me just see how long it is just to. It's pretty long. Maybe I don't have to read the whole thing, but I'm going to start it and then we'll see. Um, okay, this is by Jacob Hess. This also, by the way, does not surprise me at all. Maybe it surprises me that non-Western countries are growing happier. I just thought the whole world was getting worse off. But okay, if you were asked to rate your life as a whole on a scale from 0 for the worst possible life and 10 for the best possible, how would you rate the state of your life right now? Um, I don't know. That's a hard question. My personal life is booming right now, guys. I've, my personal life is going ham. I am doing great. The the state of the world though puts me like is like the exact opposite, right? Um, so I'm gonna put it right in the middle. I'm gonna put it at 5. That's the question Gallup asked roughly 1,000 people each year in 136 countries dating back to 2012. The resulting report so this is Gallup that did this, with 100 different social scientists contributing over the years, generates an average measure of life satisfaction for each nation. Timed with the International Day of Happiness on Friday, the World Happiness Report released its annual findings for 2026. As expected, a group of especially happy countries continued to stand out positively, while a group of conflict ridden countries show uniquely low levels of happiness. I wonder what will be. We're in a conflict right now, so. But while general happiness across the world continues to grow, it continues to be perplexing for many to see overall happiness of most Western countries continuing to decrease. That's not perplexing at all, man. Western countries are by and large capitalist countries. Um, as the contradictions of capital like worsen, people's standard of living will also worsen. So we're ending the tail end of like the whole you know infinite growth idea, right? Where capitalist countries thought there was a possibility of infinite growth, um, which there isn't. There's a point where there is no other place to accumulate profits except for gouging your workers and gouging your country. So they're starting to get to that point. This is just kind of inevitable to me. Um, okay, one sec. Okay. Rising global happiness. Comparing happiness levels from a decade and a half ago until now among the 136 countries assessed, almost twice as many countries had significant gains in happiness, 79, compared with significant losses, 41. These gains include essentially all of Central and Eastern Europe, like Serbia, Bulgaria, Kosovo, Slovenia, Romania, Bosnia, Herzegovina, Latvia, and Lithuania, with 21 countries gaining a point or more in Central and Eastern Europe. All of these seem like somewhat developing countries, if I had to say, or like not like you know like major completely developed capitalist countries, I guess is what I would say. So I guess that's why I would kind of expect that, or at least uh, I would expect the inverse, the like highly developed capitalist countries to all be going down is kind of my expectation. But okay. A number of other countries in the global south also made the list of significant gains in happiness, including the Philippines, Vietnam, my communist king of a country, Indonesia, Thailand, and Malaysia. Speaking of overall happiness, Finland still leads the way for the ninth year in a row, followed by Iceland and Denmark. See, those are the kind of rare exceptions. Finland, Iceland, and Denmark, they are all capitalist countries. However, they are much more social democratic, right? Uh, so they have a much higher standard of living and just general social welfare programs than the super advanced capitalist countries. Now, mark my words, these are going to go down at some point as capitalism starts to take over all of their social services and slowly shitify everything as it always does. All of these countries' happinesses will start to go down just like every other capitalist country. Costa Rica took a surprise fourth place, the highest ranking any Latin America country has achieved. Way to go. Followed by Sweden, Norway, and the Netherlands. Uh, as smaller countries, Israel, Luxembourg, and Switzerland ran out the top 10. Israel is insane, dude. That is crazy. The top 10 happiest countries, fucking Israel, which is like in a perpetual state of fucking war, bombing every country like that surrounds it and a few countries that don't, like literally committing genocide against the Palestinians. I guess you know what? It probably does make a lot of them happy. Committing war crime after war crime, sexual, like, fucking raping every Palestinian woman they can find, like, just generally committing genocide against the Palestinian people. Probably, it really probably does make them pretty happy. So, you know what? I get it. Israel, man, that is wild. Okay. Youth happiness as a key variable. According to analysts, happiness boosts in Central and Eastern Europe are partially driven by the youth of these various countries, while the corollary is also true of many Western countries mentioned below, where youth woes are weighing on overall happiness. Again, no future. There is no future for these for the youths. So yeah, like of course they're unhappy. Remarkably, the report notes that in 8 of the 10 global regions reviewed in the analysis, covering roughly 90% of the world's population, those in the youngest age group have higher life evaluations now compared with surveys in 2006 to 2010. Um, higher life evaluations. Does that just mean a higher life expectancy? I don't know what a life evaluation is. Oh, rate their current and expected future lives. Um, those in the youngest age group have, so I guess that's interesting. So 8 out of 10 global regions, those in the youngest age group have higher life evaluations, or so they expect to have a better life. That seems weird to me, a little contradictory, but okay. Family contributors to happiness. Scholars highlight several variables they consider driving many of these happiness levels, including income, healthy life expectancy, social support, perceptions of corruption, freedom to make life choices, a sense of engaging in generous actions, and trusting one's fellow citizens and the government as a whole. Researchers underscored the value and importance of the family as a centerpiece of Costa Rica's rise to the top 10, adding they have links across generations that other countries strive to maintain. This may also explain why Mexico ranks 12th in world happiness. I mean, yeah, having having connections of any sort, whether it's family, community, um, civic, like having any sort of connection will obviously make a big difference here. That's why America's hyper isolationist attitude probably leads us to be pretty not so great. But one of the leading happiness researchers in the world, John F. Helliwell, that's a cool name, from the University of British Columbia, pointed to other research in Latin America that asks, how much time do you spend with your family? How much do you like your family? These measures are higher in Latin America than elsewhere, Helliwell said, and Latin Americans care about them more. That extra warmth and strength of those close social connections are really extraordinarily important. True, true. Um, decreasing happiness in war zones, except for Israel. uh, apparently. Most of the 8 countries with the most significant drops in happiness are either experiencing war or near areas of major conflict. Conflict, of course, is the absolute destroyer of happiness. So, Yeah, I guess if you're not the one dishing out the conflict, apparently. Um, Says Richard Laird, a report editor with the London School of Economics and Political Science. So countries like Afghanistan and so on have been plunging. Yeah, if you're on the wrong side of the imperialist sword, then yeah, you're probably not having a very good time. After Afghanistan, we decimated them. Zimbabwe, as far as I know, we didn't have any contribution to that or whatever. Um, Venezuela, yep, that was us. And Lebanon have taken the biggest drops. Yeah, 3 out of 4, baby. We've destroyed 3 out of 4 countries' happiness. Way to go, America. We did it. Jesus Christ, dude. Okay. Sorry, I need a drink of water real quick. Okay. And overall, many of the least happy places in the world, measured after Afghanistan, are in Africa, Sierra Leone, Malawi, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Congo, Tanzania, and the Middle East. Yeah, Yemen, yeah, that's us too. Via Saudi Arabia. I mean, Saudi Arabia committed genocide against the Yemenis, but it was on behalf of America. Lebanon, by the way, I just consider Israel an extension of America, so I just say that was us as well. Egypt is because of Israel as well, probably, for the most part. Places like Russia, North Korea, and Iran are not included in the study. I don't really understand why. That seems silly to me. Like, and also, what does that mean? Places like Russia, North Korea, and Iran? Like, it seems kind of arbitrary, but okay. I assume they're trying to say like some sort of like, oh, we don't count totalitarian places or whatever. Um, which just seems silly. Like you should get that information from them as well. I don't. Yeah, sorry, that's very confusing to me. Mm. Okay, Western happiness keeps dropping. When it comes to English-speaking countries, there has been this remarkable fall in youth well-being over the last 15 years or so. In North America and Western Europe, young people are much less happy than 15 years ago. The report itself summarizes. Um, yeah, Yeah. In general, most Western industrial countries are now less happy than they were between 2005 and 2010. 15 of them have had significant drops compared to 4 with significant increases. Did they, did, okay, so they did pull us at least. I was like, I thought they were like just avoiding like major powers or something. Like they didn't do Russia, North Korea, or Iran because they're like somewhat major powers in the world. So I was like, maybe they just didn't do the United States either, but apparently they did. Um, it's important to point out that many of these Western countries still rank high in overall happiness, with New Zealand 11th, Australia 15th, Germany 17th, United States 23rd, baby. We're 23rd. We're 23rd. uh, Canada 25th and UK 29th. Yet when focusing more specifically on happiness changes for those under 25 years old, the United States, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand fall between 122 and 133 in the list of 136 countries. Our youth are in trouble, man. They are fucked. They see no happiness in their future, and that is not a good thing to have in your society. Um, Western countries are obviously not the only countries facing some happiness headwinds, even simultaneous with the rise in overall happiness levels. The report notes that negative emotions are becoming more common in all global regions. Worry rose more broadly for the young, while the frequency of anger fell everywhere for young and old alike, the authors say. At the same time, positive emotions continue to be twice as frequent as negative emotions. Yeah, that's also, um, or I guess that's good. I don't know. It's hard to tell what to do with this information. Um, Happiness as an alternative to GDP as a key progress indicator. There's now an alternative to thinking about GDP as a measure of social progress. That was stupid to ever think of GDP as a measure of social progress. GDP is a measure of uh like it doesn't even really measure productive capabilities anymore. I guess it kind of to some extent never 100% did or whatever, but um like social progress should there's so much to society other than money, right? There's so much like things like culture, um, entertainment, I don't know, like happiness, as this thing is saying, like yeah, I don't think social progress should have ever been measured as GDP. That's just a little silly. Okay. Emphasized Belgian economist Jan-Emmanuel de Neve, an editor of the World Happiness Report, with Laura Aknin, professor of social psychology at Simon Fraser University, also involved in editing the report, adding, happiness can be studied and measured scientifically, can be translated into policies and everyday practices that can improve people's lives. Yeah. The most important message from the World Happiness Report, according to Helliwell, is to measure, cherish, and build good lives for yourselves, yes, but for other people especially. It's always funny to me when they really seem to like focus on individual actions. It's very ironic, right? They're like this Helliwell person, their final message, their most important message, as they say, is to measure, cherish, and build good lives for yourselves and for others, especially. Um, that is an act of individual change that you can make in your life, which ironically is a very isolated, individualistic way of looking at society. Um, so like you gotta, yes, obviously you want to build like important relationships with the people around you and try to like help others and stuff, which will give you as an individual a sense of purpose or whatever. But you should also be looking at structural changes that you can make to society to benefit everybody as a whole, as a collective. Because I think that sort of desire for like revolutionary change to improve everybody's lives gives people a really good sense of purpose or whatever that will help them also feel like like as a part of a collective or as a part of society, right? Which is like a really important part of being happy, in my opinion. But